Good evening and welcome to my live stream. This is Bob Pace. You're here to fight CPS and stop taking our children. I'm your host tonight, and I come on every night, every morning, 14 times a week. And that is a live stream. And I'm here to help you with your CPS cases, your questions, your answers. I started kind of early tonight with a phone call from one of my new members in here. His name is Pyro, Pyro, and he's from Santa Cruz, California. And he has an unusual case where his 5-year-old daughter, the parents didn't want to do surgery, but the doctor convinced them or what it was. And they did surgery, but didn't have to because all she had was in her intestines. She was getting great pain. She had a hardened stool in there, and then they found out it was gallstones. And that's what it was, gallstones. And so anyway, CPS interfered because they're at the hospital, and it's a big mess. And I'm going to let Pyro and his wife explain that in a few minutes. They're both on my phone tonight. Also, there is another person here that wanted to be on my show, Shastivia Wheat, and she's from Lexington, Kentucky, and she had called a couple of days ago, and she couldn't take my call, but I have set up a time for her, Mr. Davis. She also today sent me a petition to sign for against the judge. And so anyway, okay. And then there's another person too, besides Pyro and Shasta. Okay, this a new person here is Jeannie Tolliver, and I have no idea what she wanted, but she wanted to be on the show so she can get her 15 minutes with Mr. Davis. So anyway, we have 3 of you tonight that I'm dealing with, and so I'm going to tell you a couple things that you can do before we get started. Are you still there, Pyro, and your lovely wife?
Yes, we're still here.
Okay, good. I want to turn it up. And I usually talk for the first 15 minutes, and then I take calls about a quarter after. And I guess I wasn't thinking about calling right at 7. You're very punctual, and I appreciate that. Hello, actress 511. And actress is from 3 places. She's had an incident in Montreal, Canada. She somehow was on vacation, but she wanted to take in a shelter she thought was free. Anyway, the Child Protection Agency has traced her to New York. That's where she's from. And then a relative from Florida called in on her. And so it's a big mess. So hello, Daniel Watt. And happy Memorial Day to you too. Daniel Watt's from Georgia. And the actress, of course, is from New York with her problem with Montreal, Canada, and the corruptness there. Now, I'm on twice a day. I start at 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends it's 8 a.m. In the evening it's 7 p.m., and I'm on every night of the week. And so those are my show times. And if you're going to text me a question or a comment, please make sure it pertains to CPS. State your first name, your city or county, your state, and of course the country. Also, please tell me about your case from the beginning to where you're at. And yes, when I mention countries, I have countries right now: Indonesia, Bangladesh, India. I have the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Libya, and then over Africa, I got Liberia, Sudan, and then I got the new country, Republic of Congo, the Rwanda and Mozambique, and then down to South Africa, several of the provinces in there. Then up to Europe, I got England, Scotland, Wales, Denmark, and Sweden. Across the pond to North America, I have Canada, 4 provinces there. And then the United States, I've had all 50 states call in about their CPS case. I even had a call in from the District of Columbia. And then south of the border, I have Mexico. And then down in South America, above Brazil, is Grenada. Then across the South Pacific, I have New Zealand. And then the land down under, Australia, and 2 of its states. I think it's Queensland and Victoria. And I've had several people there also. So I've had over 1,700 some people talk about CPS. Now, what I call CPS is the Child Protection System. It's the Child Protection System. And, you know, it has different names. It has Department of Children and Family Services in LA County, California, Department of Children's Services in Prescott, California. It has the cabinet in Richmond, Kentucky. But wherever it has different names. But every county, every state will have an entity, and every country will be, but they're all different names. So I make it simple. We just call it CPS. And I call it the Child Protection System. Now, another way you can be on the show is to be as a guest on my show. I can take up to 9 of you at one time. My producer is Grace, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. All you have to do is give me the name, the time and the day of the show. I want to be Bob's Sunday show morning. I want to be Bob's Friday night show or Wednesday morning. Whatever day of the week you tell the time, she'll give you a link. The link would take you to StreamYard, and it's broadcasted on YouTube. You found me on Facebook. I have 2 rooms. The room I'm in now is called Fight CPS, Stop Taking Our Children. My morning room is Fight CPS with Bob Pace. And so those are the names of my 2 rooms, and you follow the links will get you here. We'll get you right here. So I'm now going to, let me see here. Going to turn it over here. I got to say hello to other people here. Hope everyone had a great week, and I'm sure, Danielle, that they did. I'd love to have a barbecue. But anyway, we have an honored guest. His name is Pyro, Pyro, in Santa Clarita, and he's on the phone with his wife. And Pyro, why don't you go ahead and fill in the missing pieces or where you left off with the story. This is his daughter, who's 5 years old, and he ran into CPS at the hospital. That's very corrupt. Go ahead, Pyro.
Thank you so much. Yes. Basically, at this moment, we have our court date, this Wednesday, and basically what the social worker is saying to the judge is that we are neglecting parents, that we don't actually, we didn't care about our daughter's health, and she's also saying that we didn't take medical action when she was feeling pain and all the symptoms.
But you didn't take her to the hospital. That's taking medical action. You didn't take her to the hospital.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I said, in the documents that we were able to see, she submitted to the superior court basically that we are neglecting medical. What's it called?
You're neglecting your child because they're saying you refuse to have medical work done on your child.
Yeah. Well, here's my wife. She also has the details about this part.
Okay. And what is your first name? What is your first name?
Hi, my name is Jessica.
Jessica, glad to welcome you to my live stream and glad to meet you. And go ahead, Jessica, fill in what Pyro is talking about.
So, my daughter, we took her, this is the chronological order, essentially.
Okay.
On the 28th of April, we took her to see her primary care physician because she was complaining about tummy aches whenever she would eat, and I was concerned. So we took her, and her primary care did, the usual palpitations and checking for any abnormalities. And she dismissed her, saying everything's fine. She's probably just being like a kid who don't like to eat healthy foods. Maybe she just wants sugary stuff, and it's normal. She's doing okay. Nothing's wrong, right?
Okay.
Wednesday comes along, and she has a pizza at her volleyball game, and she starts getting tummy aches. And then I thought it was just the pizza that was doing her, like maybe it wasn't good pizza. So I let it, take care of it on its own for a day. The next day, it was getting a little bit worse. She started throwing up, so I took her to the ER. And this is the first hospital we took her to, and the hospital said it's an inflamed appendix. She needs surgery right away. I looked at the results and I said, "Can we get a second opinion?" I looked for a different hospital, and I took her to Children's because it was high ranking, and I wanted her the best treatment and the best second opinion that I could find. That we could find. This was like a mutual decision.
Mm-hmm.
And since she's 4, at the time she was 4, her birthday was during all this time. But we wanted to avoid surgery because my background, I was in medical affairs, but I left because I wanted to dedicate my time to my daughter. So I was making all these decisions wisely, and the appendix is shown now to be an important part of the system in terms of strengthening your immune system. So I didn't want her immune system to be compromised at such an early age when she's in development. That's why I wanted a second opinion and maybe different treatments if we could. So we took her to Children's Hospital, and they said surgery was the only treatment she can get because of her appendicitis. And until my husband said,
stop there for a second.
Did
2 hospitals both say that she need to have her appendix removed?
The first, both of them said they need to have the appendix
And
removed.
What was the results that they
do
used to say that was? Did they do an X-ray? How they know that she had appendicitis?
All they did was an ultrasound, and I wanted them to do more exams, but they said that that's all they needed to do.
They didn't do an MRI?
No, they did not. They didn't do an X-ray. They didn't do a CT scan. All they did was an ultrasound.
Oh, boy.
And the blood work. Yes. So, and then they weren't telling us that there are other treatments. And so they refused to tell us until we questioned them further. And they said, well, there are, we could do antibiotics and monitoring to decrease the inflammation of the appendix. And I said, well, let's do that. Anything we can do to avoid surgery. And they agreed to do 3 to 4 days of antibiotic treatments under monitoring to decrease the inflammation of appendix, which they say research has shown that once they decrease the appendix inflammation, there's 70% chance that we don't have to come back anymore. She didn't need the surgery. So the first day passed while my daughter was on antibiotics and observation, and I had to attend to my 5-month-old because we have a baby also. So I went to take care of my baby, and I told my husband to take care of Leon in the hospital.
So you were pregnant at the time? You were pregnant at the time?
I have a 5-month-old at the time.
Oh, okay. I did not. Okay, these are all new stuff. Your husband had mentioned your 5-month-old, and he didn't mention anything about appendicitis. And so this is all good. I'm glad that you're explaining it because it wasn't making sense to me earlier.
Yes.
I would like to read something here and see if you might agree with this. To determine if a girl child of 4 years old has appendicitis involves observing her symptoms and consulting with a healthcare provider, which you did, Common signs include
Yes.
vague abdominal pain around the belly button that migrates to the lower right side. Now, did you have abdominal pain around the belly button?
She had it on the doctor's notes. The doctor wrote for her primary says lower left quadrant.
See, here it says it migrates to the lower right side. Nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Now, did she have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or even a fever?
The day we took her, she did have that, but prior, no, she's never had that.
She never had vomiting or diarrhea.
No.
All she had was a fever.
When we took her to the ER initially, she had diarrhea, vomiting, and a fever. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then, was there any behavior changes such as irritability or lack of interest in eating?
No, she had.
She
a
was
good
never
appetite,
irritable.
except when
She was never irritable, and she had no and she had interest in eating.
No, she had an appetite.
Okay.
But
This also helps support that the child may have appendicitis. If these symptoms are present, it is crucial to seek medical attention properly. And you were. But the thing is the doctors are misdiagnostic. Now, I'm not a doctor. I am trained as high level as an EMT. I know how to do general first aid and mouth and heart, heart resuscitation and mouth resuscitation. I know how to bring people back from life. And so I'm trained in that, in first aid. And my level of first aid when I was an ocean lifeguard took me up to EMT level. Now, it says if these symptoms are present, it's crucial to seek medical attention promptly. And you were doing so. The healthcare provider may perform a physical exam, blood tests, and imaging results to confirm the diagnostic. Was there any, besides the ultrasound, was there anything else of imaging? They didn't do an MRI.
they did not do an MRI. All they did was an ultrasound. And blood work. Just but imaging, that was just ultrasound. Which, by the way, I do want to add, she recently had another visit to the ER for abdominal pain post-operation this past Saturday. So Saturday was just like 2 days ago, right? And they finally did different imaging. They did X-rays, and they found gallbladder stones that were causing her pain. So, but they didn't tell me that. Like, they didn't find that.
Wow. So they misdiagnostic is what they did. It also says a blockage is how appendix causes bacteria to grow, leading to infection. That's what appendicitis is. It's a blockage.
Yes,
and leads
yes,
back.
we even told them.
Yeah.
Yes, we
And it
told them that
causes
there was something else
hard
that we
stool.
could do.
You did tell me the stool. Your husband did tell me the stool was hard. And
Yes,
did you have swollen lymph
we told them
nodes?
that.
Were there swollen lymph nodes in the intestines?
They found swollen lymph nodes. Let me double check. None of that was on the report.
Okay. Was there any parasites?
No.
Okay. This is.
We did try to tell the doctors that she has hard stools. If we could maybe remove that with some form of treatment to decrease the inflammation. And after her surgeon, so surgery, discharged, had to come back again to the ER for vomiting, vomiting, fever, and abdominal pain.
Mm-hmm.
Then they found that she had an obstruction of the small intestine.
Mm-hmm.
They did fasting, NG tube, and antibiotics, discharged. Then this past Saturday, she had to go in again, and then they found no obstruction, no complications to surgery, but gallbladder stone.
Wow. Well, this is really strange because only 7% of the people in the United States has appendicitis. And it's only common in kids from ages 5 to 20. It's not in infants. Now, appendicitis in kids should be treated as a medical emergency, which you did. Knowing the signs to seek help as soon as possible is important. The early appendicitis is diagnosed and treated, the better the recovery period. Now, I am just using the internet. And how serious is appendicitis in kids? Appendicitis is considered a medical emergency. A blockage in the appendix causes bacteria to grow, leading to infection. Possible blockage includes hard stool, swollen lymph nodes in the intestine, parasites, or other conditions. Appendicitis is not contagious. When the appendix is infected, it begins to swell after 48 to 72 hours of infection. The appendix can burst, spreading bacteria through the body. This is a severe complication. A burst appendix may lead to a collection of pus forming in the abdomen. Appendix requires immediate treatment to avoid a burst appendix. This condition is the most common cause of emergency abdominal surgery in children. So, how do I know if my child has appendicitis? Recognizing the early signs of appendix can be challenging, especially in young children. It's helpful to know what to look for. Early signs of appendicitis in kids. Early signs of appendicitis in kids usually include a mild fever, pain around the belly button, and pain in the lower right area of the abdomen. The lower right area. So when you're behind the child, you use your right hand and you ask her if she has pain on the right area of the abdomen. But you told me it was all on the left.
Yes.
Okay, as infection progresses, other symptoms may include severe pain in the abdomen, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and swelling. Now, often the pain seems to get worse with any movement, like walking, jumping, or coughing. Riding the car may be uncomfortable too. Signs of a ruptured appendix. The pain for the appendix is located on the belly button, the right lower area of the belly. If your child suddenly describes the pain spreading across their stomach, they may have a ruptured appendix. When that bursts, it often causes severe abdominal pain and a high fever up to 104. While appendix is not common in babies and toddlers, it is possible infants and young children may experience different symptoms than older kids. It may also be more challenging for them to communicate their feelings. About 33% of the children with appendicitis do not present with the classic symptoms and symptoms we expect, such as right lower belly pain. Appendicitis in toddlers and preschoolers may present with the following signs. We're not worried about the toddlers anymore. Appendix in infant and young children is also confused with other infections like gastroenteritis, a urinary tract, UTI infection. Determining child has appendix observes how they eat, move, play, and poop. Call your child health care provider. You did. You called your pediatrician for your child. And when to seek care. It's important to seek medical care for appendix as soon as possible. How is appendix diagnostic? Now, your healthcare provider will ask your child to describe the pain, how it feels, where it's located, when it started, and if it's getting worsening. Your child healthcare will run tests to rule out other possible causes of their symptoms. Other possible reasons could include kidney stones, which I think you said that they had, right?
Gallbladder.
Oh,
Gallbladder
okay.
stones.
Yeah, okay, here it is. Okay. A UTI, which is a uterus infection, gastritis, or other infections. Now, blood tests, the common blood count, the CBC, what was her blood count?
I don't have the documents right in front of me, but I think her white blood count was 17.
Okay, and what is the normal count supposed to be at? They'll have a chart and it'll tell you whether it's in the green zone, the yellow zone, or the red zone.
significantly less than that.
Okay. How about the reactive protein, the CRP?
The CRP. Hold on, let me
Get the papers.
Yeah, let me get that. 1 second.
Well, I'm trying to help you guys, and I'm not, somehow with my skills and talking things out and studying things, I have a knack, to analyze. I'm very analytical mind. I'm a scientist by profession, so maybe that comes into play.
Okay, here it is. We have a discharge note, so it's not this. Her medical record.
The reason why I'm asking is when I did my blood work, they gave me my chart and it showed all where I was with my urine analysis, and that's what in my blood. It would tell you whether you're in the red, green, or yellow zone.
She all the blood work was significantly higher than it should be. More
Okay.
than normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they told us.
The issue is that the social worker has skewed the truth by saying that she was diagnosed first and that we waited a few days before we took it to the ER, basically, on the court document.
Okay.
Where that wasn't the case.
Do you have the hospital records that shows when you brought the child in? Do you have a letter from your pediatrician who first diagnosed the child? If you have a letter from your pediatrician and a hospital documentation when you were there and what they did, they give you a chart and paperwork. Did you do a urine test? Did you do a urine test?
With the primary, no.
Okay. But you have done one since then?
We did one when we took her to the ER on that Thursday.
All right. Now the imaging.
And she was scheduled to do blood work on Saturday after we visited our primary.
Okay, so did they do an image study like an X-ray, ultrasound, or computed tomography, CT?
In the ER, only ultrasound.
Only. See, they should have done an X-ray because X-ray would have shown the stones. And if they did,
they did not do that.
Yeah, see, if they did an X-ray, it would show the stones. And computed tomography, a CT scan, is a more thorough scan than ultrasound. If you ever seen an ultrasound of a baby in the womb there, you see the image, but it's not very clear what you're seeing. Sometimes you can't even see the sex of a baby with the ultrasound.
Their excuse was they didn't want to expose her to too much radiation. That was their reasoning for only using ultrasound.
Oh, okay.
Because I was telling them I wanted to do other imaging results, but they said all they needed was ultrasound.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that they decided that they found the gallstone. They never did cut her open, right?
They removed her appendix.
Oh my God, you have a civil lawsuit. You're talking millions and millions of dollars. You can sue them for removing appendix when there wasn't appendix. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Right now, we're just trying to. This case that they have, they said it's a what is it called? I'll show you what they're saying. Tenancy petition version 1 for section 300 original. They're saying that I endangered my child, Leona, for medical neglect. Therefore, I'm endangering my 5-month-old, Solomon, also. And they said that the child is suffering as a result of my failure and inability to supervise or protect my child adequately. That's what the court documents are stating. Okay.
Let me go to gallstones right now. Go ahead, Pyro. Go ahead.
Yes. Also, the social worker also mention in the paper that submit to the court that I'm not a father. About you.
Biological.
Yeah.
You're not the
They,
biological. They do that
from
all the
this,
time. Did you have a birth certificate with your name on it?
Yes.
Do you have a driver's license with your picture on it?
Yes.
Okay. Then that's all you need to show them. You show them your birth certificate
Okay.
of your child, and you show them the driver's license. That can be shown in court. They do that. They make it sound like you're the alleged father. They're so cruel and rude to people. Now let me talk about gallstones.
Yeah.
If your child has gallstones but no symptoms such as pain or vomiting, you did have pain and vomiting. They may not need treatment,
yes.
but pay attention. Be ready to bring your child to the doctor if they develop symptoms later. If your child has sympathetic gallstones, the only effective treatment surgery is remove the gallbladder. Oh boy. Oh.
So when they said that there was no obstruction, there was no infection. We just have to wait out her pain. They found the gallbladder stones, but they said they were too small. They might dissolve on their own. But we decided to go to another doctor this week because if she's having pain like that, we want to get a second opinion again.
Right.
But we don't want her to get injury. And then now it's kind of like, what if they tell us again to do surgery and then they'll force us to do it? So we want to learn more about it, like our legal rights to not be pressured to do anything like that.
Well, first of all, as a parent, you have the legal right. They're not taking away your medical rights. They're not terminated them. They're not terminated your education. There are two very important rights that are your constitutional rights. Every parent that has a child has their medical rights and their education rights of their children unless the court has taken action to remove them. And now, when they removed the appendix, that didn't solve the problem, did it?
No, it did not.
And so right there, they're open up to a lawsuit because they did a surgery that was not required because they did not in the beginning do x-rays. They did not do other alternative methods to determine if it maybe was a gallstone. Now, what are gallstones? Several digestive fluids help the body metabolize food. The gallbladder secretes, while gallstones are not necessarily harmful, they can cause problems in the gallstones, can cause intense pain, especially when the gallbladder secretes bile to help with digestion. But when the digestive fluids accumulate and harden, that's when they create stones in the gallbladder. So with this bile, and you've all tasted that, it's a very terrible taste. It comes up sometimes from your stomach. Bile is a very terrible taste. But they secrete that, and then it's supposed to help with digestion. But when the fluids accumulate and harden, they can create stones in the gallbladder. While gallstones are not necessarily harmful, they can cause problems in the gallbladder, such as inflammation. Also, stones may move and become trapped in the ducts of the gallbladder and liver, which can damage the liver, the pancreas, or both. Gallstones cause intense pain, especially when they became stuck in the ducts. Because of the risk of infection and organ damage, gallstones that cause symptoms require prompt care. Okay, so they didn't know there was gallstones, and they're chasing the wrong thing right now. Generally, there are two types of gallstones can occur. That ultimate forms into stones. This is the most common type in adults. Pigment gallstones occur when pigment, such as bilirubin, accumulates and causes stones. This is the most common type of gallstones in most children. So maybe it's pigment gallstones. However, according to one report, young females who have gone through puberty are more likely to develop gallstones. Well, she's too young to go through puberty, so that doesn't pertain to her. Causes and risk factors. A 202-22 literature review indicates the number of children with gallstones has risen by 1.94% in recent years, say 2%. A 220 paper suggests that the rise in gallbladder disease in children may be because of the increasing number of children with obesity. Now, I don't know, was your daughter overweight?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not overweight at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen some young kids at 4 or 5 that look like bowling balls. So, and I'm not saying that you parents would do that purposely, but sometimes in undeveloped countries, they eat too much rice.
No, she's actually tall for her age and slender.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very fat and active.
Yeah. Certain medical conditions increase the risk of gallstones in children. The Wilson disease, the thyroid disease, the Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, and hemolytic diseases, a group of diseases affecting the blood. Now, does your family have a history of gallstones?
No.
Okay. So, and she is a female. Does she have physical activity?
Yes.
Okay, so that can't be
She
there.
just type
See,
1
people
though.
that have the risk are with low physical activity, and she doesn't eat a high-fat diet. Having obesity, some studies show that may play a role. Weight loss, since rapid BMI reduction can cause gallstones. However, even people who do not have any risk factors can still develop gallstones. A nutritious, balanced diet and regular physical activity may reduce the risk of gallstones in some children. Now we go down here to symptoms. Gallstones have not caused any complications, often do not cause symptoms. So when symptoms appear, it may be a sign of complications. Some symptoms include pain when pushing on the gallbladder area while taking a deep breath. So the doctor check the gallbladder and ask her to take a deep breath and listen with a stethoscope?
So when we took her to the children's hospital and they said it was appendicitis, but she was being treated with antibiotics before the surgery, she was telling me that her lungs hurt, but the lower part of her lung closer to the gallbladder. And I told the doctors, she's never complained about pain in that area. Can you check since we're here? I want to make sure we do our due diligence, and I don't want something to happen to her lungs.
Right.
But they said, oh, no, we don't need to do that. Sometimes that happens. And I said, but she's complaining we should do some extra tests, and they denied that.
Oh,
and she was saying, my lungs hurt, and they didn't want to check what that was for.
Yeah. Well, if I was talking to you and this is fresh out of the start, I would have had you bring your child to the Hogue Memorial Presbyterian Hospital in Newport Beach, and I'm sure they would have done a good job. That's the sad
take
part.
Her there next. But hopefully we don't have to do that. But
no, I'm trying to tell you. That's why I picked the hospital. I think I was talking to your husband earlier about medical plans, and I picked the hospital. And the Hogue Presbyterian Hospital in Newport Beach is the best hospital for hearts and all kinds of things. Long Beach Memorial is one of the best hospitals for children. And so, that's one thing you have to do. Your homework is check out the hospitals, because I hate to say it, there's a lot of bad hospitals out there. Now, when symptoms appear, it may be a sign of complications. Symptoms include pain when pushing the gallbladder. We talked about that. Jaundice. Was the urine dark?
Yes, it was dark.
Okay,
yeah.
That is jaundice. That is
jaundice.
That's jaundice. And was her eyes yellow?
No.
Was her skin yellow? Was the skin yellow?
She got a little greenish, yellowish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's no pain in the upper right side of her abdomen, correct?
The pain at that point was spreading everywhere
Okay,
of her abdominal.
right. It's maybe the infection has gone all over the place. Stomach pain that radiates to the right shoulder. She had no pain in the right shoulder, right?
No, she had
Okay.
pain on her legs and lungs.
Right. Nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. She had those. And then she had a
Yes.
fever. And
Yes.
guarding the abdomen when tensing of the abdominal muscle to protect the organ. So was she trying to guard her abdomen, I guess, or?
Oh yes, yes, She didn't want
Okay,
anybody to
yeah,
touch her.
I know. Now, the diagnostic gallstones. Physical examination assess the child's medical history can help the doctor determine whether they have gallstones. This may include tests to confirm a diagnostic. A abdominal ultrasound examine, which uses sound waves to bounce off the gallbladder and other organs to create an image. Now, they did that, right?
They did ultrasound, but they didn't find anything. At children.
Well, did they bounce it off the gallbladder?
I don't know.
Well, see, they don't know. See, that's the thing is they should do ultrasound of the whole abdominal area. Now, specialist imaging to examine the bile ducts, which are tubes that carry bile, include magnetic resonant. That's the MRCP. It's like MRI, but it's called the MRCP to look at the bile duct. That looks at the bile duct. Then endoretrograde ERCP to locate and possibly remove the gallstones. And then HIDA scan, which are imaging scans that show how the liver, gallbladder, and bile ducts are functioning. Blood tests to look for infection, jaundice, or other issues that could cause gallstones. Now, sometimes doctors may find gallstones were looking for something else or as a part of a workup for stomach pain. Treatment, if gallstones do not cause symptoms, they may not require immediate treatment. Sometimes a doctor will recommend removing the gallbladder. This is because gallstones tend to reoccur, and having gallstones is a risk factor to duct obstruction. I don't think you need to remove the gallbladder. Gallbladder requires surgery, and a child will need to have general anesthesia in an operating room. In some cases, a child may need other treatment for gallstone complications. These include IV fluids, antibiotics, and additional medication. When to seek medical attention. Now, gallstones can cause pancreatitis and liver damage or lead to dental infections. It's important to seek treatment for systematic gallstones. Go to the emergency room if a child develops intense pain in the upper abdomen that may come in waves after a meal. Jaundice, which can infest your yellow skin, eyes, or nails, or dark urine. Symptoms of pancreatitis, such as intense abdominal pain or a pale stool, the poop. If seek medical advice if a child has stomach pains that comes and goes, frequent bouts of vomiting or diarrhea, and a history of gallstones. So we now talked about appendicitis and gallstones. And I'm not a professional doctor, and I don't profess that I am. But I'm also very intelligent. And what I read right there really surprised me that the hospital doctors who are trained in this would know what they're talking about. Now, we have our Canadian Indigenous lady from Canada, from Nova Scotia, and she says go to a naturopathic doctor. A naturopathic doctor. What is that?
That's an alternative medicine doctor. They
Okay.
go to medical school too, but
Yeah.
they're limited on their ability to prescribe things like narcotics.
Right. Or you can use Dr. Gary's Young Living Essential Oils. Who is Dr. Gary? It compresses on her stomach. Castor oil in her belly button with hot or warm towels on her stomach. Wow. All right, Phyllis. That is nice. I'm glad that you're helping us here. She's been on my show, and she means well. She's the First Nation tribe in Canada. They don't call their people Native American Indians. They're called the First Nation Indians. So there's a difference there. But she is an Indigenous tribal lady, and she's called in and has had terrible times with the mounted police in Canada and with child services up there. But for all you listening, we took a sidebar here, and we talked about a mother and a father who seemed to be loving parents, had a child who was 4 years old at the time, developed abdominal pain. She had other symptoms, and they went to the first doctor, and that doctor told them that she had appendicitis. I don't think they did a complete enough test, and the parents didn't feel good about that because they heard that removing your appendix will hurt the child because they need the appendix growing up. I mean, God put the appendix in your body for some reason, just like tonsils. Sometimes it's automatically to take your tonsils out when you're real young. And I guess appendicitis is another thing there. But you want to try to avoid that, plus the traumatic of going under anesthesiologist and going through surgery. So these parents wanted second opinions. They went to another hospital. But that hospital said it was definitely appendicitis, and so they removed her appendix. Now, that sounds like that's a wrong diagnostic. Meanwhile, the Child Protection Agency for LA County interfered, and they're really bad, and they're jumping to conclusions and threaten the parents because they think the parents did wrong because they didn't act quick enough. All I know so far is the parents said they went to their primary care physician for their daughter, their pediatrician, and from there they went to the first hospital and the second hospital. Now, the second hospital removed her appendix, but then they discover, how did they discover the gallstones?
So that was after the operation of the appendix. She got discharged, and we came back, and they found an obstruction of her intestines because she had the same symptoms, and we took her back, so we thought it was a complication of the surgery.
Right.
Then they put a tube up her nose to aspirate accumulated liquid in her stomach.
The bile.
While giving her antibiotics. Didn't feed her for 3 to 4 days. And then afterwards, she got better. They discharged her with antibiotics. Then this past Saturday on the 24th, so if you like a 2 days ago, she had the symptoms again. And we took her to the ER the third time, and they told us that's when they discovered the gallbladder stones.
How did they discover it? How did they, with x-rays?
Yes, x-rays.
And they should have taken x-rays the first time. And what was the reason they didn't take x-rays the first time? Are they worried that maybe her ovaries or something that developed to have children later on would be hurt by the x-rays?
No, because the third time I took it to
the first time they didn't
hospital.
They didn't do the x-rays. How come?
Because they thought that the only ultrasound was necessary, even though we were telling them they should do more.
I'm trying to help you out with your lawsuit. I'm trying to help you out with your lawsuit because I think you may have a civil lawsuit here where you could sue the hospital and you can sue all the people connected with the hospital, including CPS.
We do too, and that's what we want to do.
And you can't sue them yet. You can sue the hospital, but you can't sue the CPS until your case is over. So you have a court date Wednesday. And what is the court date? What's it for?
It's for, on the document it says, Juvenile Dependency Petition, version 1, 300.
Okay, hold on. I'm
original,
putting that in. Hold on. I'm gonna put that in. Okay. Let me put in there. This is Santa Clarita, California. And then you put in the letters CPS. And then you put in, okay, what's it called? Section what?
It's Juvenile Dependency Petition, version 1.
Juvenile. Hold on. Juvenile petition, version 1.
Petition.
What kind of petition?
Version 1.
Yeah. Go on.
Section 300.
Section
Original.
300 original.
And then it says, the section 300B1, failure to protect. And this is what they marked.
One.
They said the child has suffered or there is a substantial risk that the child will suffer serious physical harm or illness, and then they crossed out, as a result of the failure or inability of his or her parent or legal guardian to supervise or protect the child adequately. And they're basically putting, because we endangered Leona, that we're also endangering my 5-month-old Solomon.
How are you endanger your 5-year-old one?
It says that that we did such medical neglect of Leona, endangering her physical health and safety, and that places the sibling Solomon at risk of serious physical harm, damage, danger, and medical neglect.
Okay. Well, here is a case of in Santa Cruz County. It's on a JV 100 form. Is that what your form says, the upper right?
Let me check. Okay, yeah, JV 100.
Right. That's what the form is. I'm looking at the same form you're looking at it. It says Juvenile Dependency Petition version 1 is the title of the document. Is the child name below comes with the jurisdiction of the juvenile court and the follow subsection 300 of the Welfare and Institution Code. And it's B, right? They check B. And they have the child's name. The age of this child's 12. It's a female. They should have there. Did they put the date of birth?
Yes, they did.
Okay, this form they didn't. The name of the mother is the mother. Okay. The name of the father, is the father checked? Is your name on there?
Well, it's not my name. It used to be my name.
His name, and they put alleged.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's alleged here too. It's where they have a check mark: legal, biological, presumed, or alleged. and they should put legal, and they should have your name spelled right, and they should have the address. See, they do all this because you have to look at these forms to see where the mistakes are. Now, prior to the intervention, they have you listed with the child with you there, right?
Yes.
Now, is the child detained or not detained?
Not detained.
Okay, that's good. Because if he is detained, he'd be in a shelter or something. Okay, that's good. Well, that's the end of page 1. Now, page 2 is the social worker's name right there, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, that social worker, you need to look them up and see if they've had any bad things about that social worker. Is there anything after her name like MSW or anything?
There's a CSW.
But doesn't even there's a social worker.
That is her.
Oh,
That's
okay,
her
okay.
name. Uh-huh.
Okay, got it.
CSW.
Okay, I try to figure out what the difference between MSW and CSW. What's the difference?
I do not know.
W. CSW. An MSW is a Master of Doctor. It's a degree. See what the CSW is.
Let me test.
I bet the CSW is not mean. This person's not even a doctor. Can't even state this.
Oh, she's a certified.
She's a certified social worker, but she is not a master. She's not a doctor of social work. You have to be a doctor to make a determination. I don't know if she's even qualified. You could certainly attack her as being qualified. Again, I'm trying to help you with your attorney. Now, you don't have an attorney lined up, right?
So when we called, they said that they don't have one yet for us.
Well, you can ask for a continuance. You okay? You can do pro se. That means you don't have an attorney. You're fighting yourself. You want a continuation to get an attorney, and you're going to pay for one. You're going to say you're going to hire one. You don't have to prove it, but you can ask for 60 days for a continuance. The child's still at home with you.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can ask for a continuance so that you can get a real attorney. They're trying to rush it through and try to railroad you through there, and that's wrong. That's wrong. I mean, you have 2 issues going against you right now. You have doctors that didn't know what they're doing. So you have a malpractice lawsuit. You know what a malpractice is?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a malpractice lawsuit. You need to look that up. If I had more time tonight, I'd help you, but I'm already at 8:00. So we've already gone an hour. So that's okay. That's okay. But you have a malpractice lawsuit. Then you have a social worker who's interfering with this. And by you 2 talking tonight, I'm going to try to set up a meeting as soon as I can't have it happen by Wednesday. But Pyro said he talked to Vincent Davis and paid a consultant fee.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think you could talk to him again and just pay a $60 fee by tomorrow. Or you can text him right now, because I think it's really important that he gets wind of this, because he has 2 lawsuits going here. One against the malpractice medical, and they have insurance, so they will be able to settle the lawsuit. But that's not going to bring back your appendix from your daughter. The other lawsuit is against the social worker interfering with the health care and not having the qualified person write up the report. That person that is only a certified social worker, SCSW, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me look up what a certified social worker is. What is a certified social worker?
So real quick, when you ask for a continuance, is that just a verbal request? Like you go to the court date and then you tell them we're requesting a continuance, and then that's it?
Because
Or
you need to have an attorney there. How to ask for a continuance. Continuance in court. And I got to put down here Santa Clarita, California, CPS. And all you guys are listening, that is the format you use. It's a city, state, and CPS. Or if you're from a country, it's your country. And that's how you can find out real easy. To request a continuance in court for CPS cases in Santa Clarita, follow these steps. Here we go. Identify good cause. Determine if there's valid reason for continuance, such as the need to prepare evidence or address other legal matters. Well, you don't have an attorney, and you need time to talk to an attorney. An attorney needs to be brought up to speed. 2, you want to file a written notice. Submit a written notice with supporting documents to the court at 2 court dates before the scheduled hearing. Well, they kind of blew it there because tomorrow is Tuesday and it'll be only 1 date. You need to serve all parties. Ensure the notice is served on all parties involved in the case. That's where you have to have someone over the age of 18 serve a person. And that would be the social services, all you have to serve. Court hearing. Attend the court hearing to present your case and request a continuance. Court order. The court will review the request and issue an order if it finds good cause for continuance. For more detailed information, specific procedure, refer to California Judicial Branch. Now write this down, Pyro. 5.550. California Judicial Branches Rule 5.550.
California Judicial Court Rule?
Yep, 5.550.
Okay.
Here's what it says. The court must not continue a hearing beyond the time and set by statutes unless the court determines the continuance is not contrary to the interests of the child. If considering the child's interest, the court must give substantial weight to the child's need for stability and prompt. The child is at home and is in good hands. Nothing's proven that you are harming your child. It's all alleged. And the damage of prolonged temporary placement. You need to have somebody represent you. Tell them that you have an attorney in mind, you want to talk to him and bring him aboard. You don't have to say Mr. Davis. You don't want to bring up his name. The continuance may be granted only on showing of good cause and only for the time shown to be necessary. So start with 90 days, go to 60 days, go to 30 days. Stipulation between counsels of party, convenience of party, and pending criminal or family law matters. You can still serve the county. The county does things late too. So all you have to do is serve the county. If the child has been removed from the custody of parents or guardian, the court must not grant a continuance. So if the child's not removed, they can't. Now, a disposition hearing, 361 needs to be completed more than 60 days after the detention hearing. So you haven't had the detention hearing yet, have you? That's coming up. Okay. 60 days, it has to be completed before 60 days. In an event, may the deposition hearing be continued more than 6 months after the detention hearing. In order to obtain a continuance, written notice with supporting documents must be filed and served to all parties to 2 court dates. The date set for hearing, unless the court finds good cause for an oral motion. There you go, an oral motion. That's what I was looking for. The court may state in its order the facts requiring any continuance is granted. Okay? There's a whole page on the California Rules of Court. It's a great website. It's called the courts.california.gov, courts.ca.gov. And here is the judicial branch of the court. It's Rule 5.550, continuance. So I am really trying to help you guys because I think the social worker has been very misled. I think, she's not a doctor in social work. She's not a clinical psychiatrist. And I think any good attorney would be able to fight that. Also, I think you're going to text me a message. Let me put my phone number up, okay? So you have it handy. There's my phone number, 626-698-0990. Please text me a message with your full name, your email, and your phone number. And I'll send it over tonight to Grace, who would try to set up a private 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. Now, you've already had one there. Did he leave his door open that you could call him?
What was that?
Did he leave his door open that you could call him back at any time?
Yes. He also told me that he is going to be able to represent us to suit, the social worker, basically.
He said he cannot represent you. I think you told me that earlier today, right?
Yes, that he cannot represent the both of us as well. He can only represent one.
No, he can't represent both of you. I know that. In a court of law, you have to have 2. Everybody in the court will have an attorney. Even the child will have an attorney. Now, you don't have to use a court appointed for your child. You can get a real attorney for your child. But now you're talking, $15,000 if each one wants a retainer of $5,000.
I see.
Now you have the court documents, right?
Yes.
So now you can send it to him. And you got to determine which one would be the best to represent you. And maybe since the mother, I hate to say it, a family and CPS is usually the strong one there, should have the attorney. But you may have to seek a second one. And I have other attorneys, but again, it's all about money. And I know it's really hard with money. You said you already paid more than $60 to talk to Vincent Davis. And I'm sad you didn't know about what I have to help you. But, I've talked to you twice today. Hasn't cost you a dime. And I've overextended my time tonight. But I want you to know that I'm in again on tomorrow at 10 o'clock and tomorrow at 7. So if you have problems on Tuesday, give me a call, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob. We do appreciate it. And we have a quick question.
Sure.
Do you believe that we're going to be able to meet this case?
Huh?
Because do you think that there's a chance that we are able to dismiss this case?
Oh, yeah.
This court case?
Oh, yeah, because I see some problems. I see the problem with the social worker. I see them doing a false diagnostic to remove the appendix when it was the gallstones and how the social worker interfered with that. I see nothing that by you parents, if you have the doctor report from the 3 emergency rooms and their pediatrician, if you have those people at the court, I mean, you'd have to subpoena them. I don't know if it's necessary for Wednesday because it's too short of a notice. But if you have the documentation from the 3 hospitals and the pediatrician that all say something different or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know if the hospital is going to stick their neck out because they're not going to say a misdiagnostic. They're going to try to cover themselves.
Okay.
Correct. Okay.
But hopefully I was able to educate you a little bit about appendicitis, about gallstones, and how they are different, the diagnostic for each of them. And I hope I was helping you with some legal advice about a continuance so that you can get an attorney aboard. And do you have any kind of legal insurance? Like, do you have like Legal Zoom or Legal Shield or anything that you're paying a insurance premium for legal help to help you with your expenses?
We didn't really need it. We are both scholars. We run a nonprofit. We are not actually. We never went through this type of situation before in our life.
I know. No one does. But what you can do tomorrow is call around and see if you can get some legal insurance.
Okay.
Because you'll need help with that lawsuit, and you'll need some help if this gets worse.
Okay.
Now, Vincent Davis will defend your case, but he needs the paperwork to see it, and he needs the $5,000 retainer. If you have family and friends, or heaven forbid, you got to take a loan on your house or a credit line, you may have to do that. I had to sell my house on a quick sale to have Vincent get my kids back, and it cost me a lot of money. I had to fight 5 years with CPS until they stole my children, and then in the first year I tried to do it pro se with court-appointed attorneys, a waste of time. And then what I did is that I got hired Mr. Davis and got my boys back in 2 years. But my situation was totally different.
Right.
They are trying to frame you with some medical wrongdoing. And all you out there listening, I want to sign off to my people in the room. I'm so sorry, actress 511 from New York. Yes, a clinical social worker and a master's. Thank you, actress. A certified social worker and a master's social worker. Well, I just don't think that social worker knows what it's doing. And hello, Lizzie 1313. Thank you for checking in tonight. And Philistine, thank you from Canada for your suggestions for the castor oil. And I passed it on to the parents. And Daniel from Georgia, thank you for being here, listening tonight, and supporting me. Who else came in here tonight? Then that was Pryor and Brown Recluse. Hi there. I'm running late, so I'm signing off, Recluse. So God bless you all. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, my typical time during the week at 10 o'clock. And then again tomorrow night at 7. Now, there will be a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis. Please listen to it. God bless you. Keep fighting for your child. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last one.